Mm. Hold on, let me share it with
Yeah.
everyone.
And the first person to die in the Boston Massacre was the first blood of the righteous Crispus Attucks. That's why they got to always tell us he was first to die in the American Revolution. No matter
Mm.
what, no matter how they whitewash history, they got to let us know he wasn't no paleface. Because you got to be able to identify the first blood of the sacrifice in order to break the oath, the conjure, the blood oath. That was
Mm-hmm.
the blood oath was made by spilling his blood
Mm. Mm-mm.
by Scottish Rite Freemasons.
Mm-hmm.
So they wrote the secondary constitution in his blood. It's in the George Washington Masonic Memorial, but don't nobody know that the reason why it's fading brown is because that's blood.
What? Aired out oxidized blood. It
Yeah.
turns
Over
brown.
time, as the blood fades, the spell weakens.
Wow. That's why they have to keep reinstituting new rituals and new blood rituals,
Right. That's
right?
called maintenance in the conjure.
Yeah.
Because it's for one magician by himself, he can't carry a conjure that long if he don't maintenance. It's
Mm.
only gonna last a little while. That's why when it broke down in 1812, it started another war.
Mm.
We trying to stop war on the homeland.
Mm-hmm.
So the people we fighting, they bring personal homicide into our community and feed it to our children with like it's bravado.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now they
It's
got
really
us.
savagery and art and occults ritualistically being invocated and projected and propagated.
Look, remember they started off with cowboys and Indians,
Mm-hmm.
right? Bang bang shoot 'em ups, Western movies.
Mm-hmm.
They went from Western movies to um, theatrical performance movies with a leading man that was macho, played mostly by homosexuals, like
Mm.
Rock Hudson, played these
Mm.
dashing and dynamic, attractive men on the big screen, but all the time they was getting some dynamic and active penetration behind the scenes.
Absolutely, as of all the heartthrobs, allegedly,
Okay. Now watch how they play us now. And now while this is going on, we producing Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Elijah Muhammad, Huey Newton, Stokely Carmichael, Fannie Lou Hamer.
hmm
The list goes on. Stand up people that's not taking it no more,
hmm
right? Then they go from there to uh, bank robbery movies and shootout movies and gangster movies,
That's right.
right? Them movies start dominating in the 60s. When the 70s roll around, it's inner city crime movies,
In drug movies.
right? Now, in black exploitation.
hmm
Black exploitation was a last ditch effort to get some kind of codes to carry into the culture as it transformed into pop culture,
hmm
right? So, from the black exploitation movie and the gangster movies, they started giving us cops as the hero movies. Then, when we go from black exploitation to the hip hop era in the 80s, in the hip hop era, it was about family oriented
It was positive. Yeah.
shows,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And knowledge is in the music.
Yeah.
90s roll around. There's no more those family oriented
No.
sitcoms now.
No.
They all about somebody single parent
Yeah.
or struggling housewife or something like that.
Or
Doctor shows,
thoughtbotism.
yeah, doctor shows. And then now you got the boys in the street in our hood now. We not dressing no more.
No.
We don't want to dress what they used to call fly no more. We got to get sweatsuits and all type of sweatsuits.
Uh,
We don't want to wear 3-piece suits, tailor-made suits, gaiters and Borsalinos and Dobbs. We not with that no more.
Wearing
This is
bomber
just
jackets, remember bombers? Yeah.
yeah, all that's the new age,
Yeah.
right? Now, fast forward another 20 years, and now look what we got. The music is trash,
Oh,
and the
completely.
gangsters is running around in mini skirts with
Ah,
pistols.
I'm sorry.
We just watched it all unfold, reviewing history,
Mhm.
and this is what we come up with.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
it, the sisters is complaining they can't find a stand-up dude. The dudes fans complaining that they can't find a stand-up chick
Yeah.
because everybody was taught to don't stand up.
Yeah.
But
And
they
low
was taught
tolerance.
it,
They remember they have short span of concentration too. That doesn't
and
help.
it was used with reverse psychology because every stand-up dude and every stand-up chick got cut down by the government
Yeah.
and classified, labeled as a criminal,
Yeah.
whether they was or whether they wasn't.
Or terrorists.
Same thing.
Hmm. Hmm.
Hmm.
Hmm.
In America, the biggest terrorist in the world.
Oh, they're the kingpin of mafia Gestapos. Yeah. They still doing it now. They just, they're not really hiding themselves anymore, Rod. Do you notice that? They just being reckless and because it's the end of, it's the end of a cycle. So they don't really have to hide their hands anymore. Basically, they showing most of their, other than the things that they plan in more psyops that I'm sure we're going to see this week and next week. You know what I mean? But they're not
Well,
really
we were
hiding
seeing
too
enough.
much.
We were seeing quite a bit go on. I didn't know what to think at first, but Charlie Kirk was staged.
But that was total
Um,
psyop.
that
Yeah.
was total psyop.
His wife is a
Um,
thought bot, geoengineered and contracted by Willy Wonka and his League of Doom. Okay.
mhm.
I mean, they got a pandemic coming out of Arizona that they just planned as well. We're coming out in a neighborhood near you soon.
And look, you know, Trump called all those generals in, right?
Yeah. Yeah, what's your take on that? I heard some things. So let me hear what you heard because I'll tell you what I heard word on the curb.
Look, he was sitting there. He was like, such great generals, all central casting, great generals.
Like
He
control.
he telling you that it's theatrical, it's political satire is what it's called.
It is.
And that's why if you look at Hollywood and DC, they're directly across from each other.
Mm,
This is why that one drop of blood that came up on that hill was significant because now that's called total saturation from coast to coast.
mm.
They spilt the blood in Boston and it finally reached LA.
And what you think about the federal government no longer giving funding to any of most of these tribes unless they reinstitute rights and privileges and of the brown, the original native, indigenous, Negro, black, whatever you call them. What say you, Rod, about all of a sudden the federal government taking a
You gotta
yeah.
remember this, Floor. The only ones that the American government was taking care of is the ones that was willing to replace us.
Woo, I know that's right. And everybody else
The,
was on the Trail of Tears.
the ones who wasn't willing to or replace us lived in poverty worse than ours,
That's right.
worse than the projects.
Yeah.
And they constantly fed them alcohol because
Hmm.
Mongolians don't do well with alcohol.
No, they have an allergy to it, which is mostly blood type
They
B.
got it's a brain enzyme in the brain that processes the alcohol out of the brain,
Yeah.
but it make them more prone to become alcoholics.
Yeah. It's and the side effect is euphoria. So that's why they can't, it's harder for them to stop. Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah.
Sad. And they knew that. They knew that sensitivity when they were coming in. They knew what kind of weaponry they would use against those people, those particular people. Okay? Because bloodlines matter. You know people's weaknesses. You can institute them, whatever, add to the Achilles heel and atrophy the original, especially, and they killed a lot of the chiefs too. That's another thing. You
That's what
disempowered.
most of the lynchings was. Most of them lynchings was the elders, the educated,
Yeah.
the ones who would speak out and stand up.
Mm-hmm.
They got us thinking they just randomly pick a nigga and lynch him.
Yeah.
That's not what they was doing. They was, we had a lot of people that would pass our oral history and we get caught doing it. It was a death penalty.
Mm.
It's the same as teaching somebody how to read or write
Read.
under the slave
That's
codes,
right.
right?
Yeah.
So they was trying to, they want to use that as the terror mechanism where they was hanging us and lynching us and fricasseeing us and frying us. All that was to instill terror in our offspring.
Mm-hmm. It's in the cellular memory. That's why you can meet someone who's never had a dog their whole life, but they have a fear of dogs. I've seen it even in Brazil. Like people just have a
Mhm.
natural intrinsic fear because in their past, their grandfather, grandmother were exposed to being ravaged or abused by that, and they carry it in the cellular memories. We carry a lot of information in our cellular on our cells.
Mhm. They call it genetic memory because it's
Mm-hmm.
passed down,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
that's what your DNA holds. It's like crystals.
Mm-hmm.
When most people don't know, your DNA is amino acid crystals
Mm-hmm.
that's making up the helix.
It's like teleporting messages through time, space, and through incarnations,
Yeah,
or procreation, through your offspring.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
why by supplementing with a full amino acid complex helps generate the body, helps keep the
yeah,
body in optimum performance shape.
absolutely, absolutely. We're gonna add Dr. Rod to the roster. Dr. Rod. We're gonna have Dr. Rod time. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
a that's a O in there. That's what I was known for my last 8 years of prison.
You have remedies. You were giving them some remedies.
All right, my
All
screen.
right, you about to roll the video.
Nah, the videos. I think I only had 2 videos, and they were gonna be talking about them getting. Now I can ask you the questions. We got about 20 minutes. Well, we're gonna take questions from the crowd. Well, we'll take questions from the crowd. Drop your. I'm gonna ask the first question, but hey, the crowd, if you got any questions, based on what we did tonight, or any other questions, drop it in the chat, and then we'll go from there. Now, Rod, this is what I wanted to ask. Now, do you think we take as Nubians, knowing that our hair is antennas and being that who we are with hair, do you think we take our hair serious enough? Like some people don't give it like me. I brush my hair, I put wave I do the waves with the wave cap and everything, but a lot of people don't take care of their hair. Like if it's an antenna, if it's really an antenna and you ain't taking care of that joint, you can have bad signal. So what's your thought on that, bro?
Okay, remember in 80s, late 80s, especially going into the early 90s, you had all these exotic haircut styles that barbers would do. You had the high top fade, the Gumby left, Gumby right,
Yeah.
right? All asymmetrical hairstyles for the women, geometry and hairstyling.
Yeah.
The reason all this is because your hair expression is derived from the energy you channeling in your natural human nature. Following the order of nature changes the hair to reflect the energy that you feel because it's a message given to the rest of the species, the other humans, right? So when you keep your hair in different styles, it tells the content of what you're feeling, what you're going through.
Right.
Right. Yours right now, judging by your haircut and your appearance, clean shave, right? You feel self-confident and ready to put yourself out for scrutiny. You confident, you, you feel confident enough to take in whatever come because You in your energy, you in your field. My hair, on the other hand, say whatever this sucker going through, he all over the place. Right? Now, why would a chief allow himself to be all over the place, and why do he need to express the energy of being all over the place to the general public?
You really playing.
Now, if you drawing from multiple dimensions, different pieces of information, in order to bring it into the current realm, you all over the place, literally. So when the people see that and they see you can competently describe it, it makes them understand that being all over the place is not necessarily a bad thing. But to be aware of why you all over the place and what you're doing, right, expressed in appearance. Wise words being spoken, the gray beard, right? The knowledge is still intellectual, less gray hairs on the top, right? So now, because the words of wisdom can be spoken, thus says the beard. The intelligence that's been gathered can be disseminated to more people through the lenses of wisdom. So now you work in left brain, right brain in order to pass the message on subconsciously through the physical appearance. Right? And when you fold your arms, as you intently listen, it's locking the energy, you bear hugging, meaning that you holding on to the code.
Hey, Rod, what you think about women or anybody and weave? Like you already said, you on your perspective on like whatever people do is their own business, kind of move to that fact. But do you think like putting somebody else's hair with your hair would add a different energy? Like say if you got like a certain type of energy, and then you get this person's hair that had a whole nother energy, you add it to your hair, would that add to your energy? Go ahead.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
But you see, if you don't know where the hair coming from and why they cutting their hair, then you have no knowledge of what energy coming in. And the only way you can use it to your advantage at that point is to be a natural born chaos magician. Because when you put other people's energy in like that, everything they went through is in their hair. If they cut their hair, they cut it for a reason. If it was financially, everything they went through was from a poverty position.
Right.
If that's the cause. If it was ritual, that means that whatever they lived through is being kept and pent up in the hair. We used to make our own wigs. Now we rely on foreign nations to send us foreign hair.
India.
Right? Remember, the original hair extensions was made out of sheep, goat, and over here it was also made out of like the tail of the horse, the mane of the horse.
Yeah.
Right. This is why we call it horsehair anyway.
Right. That's right.
Right. And sometimes the daughter of Big Mama, the big matriarch, she wear a long ponytail because she's indicating her rank. But sometimes her hair don't grow long enough, fast enough. So Big Mama say, you go cut that ponytail off and we gonna make it into your ponytail. So they go out there, they send one of them uncles out there to cut the hair off the horse tail. So that Big Mama can make baby girl her ponytail. That's on the quarter horse. On the flip. That's 3 up, 1 down, make it look like you skate. It's an old cowboy terminology to spread the word, like Thunderbird.
Say Rock. Oh, go ahead. I thought you was finished.
Go ahead. I'm done.
Hey, so when because I looked it up, and the Indians they do it as a ritual when they want to get right with their God and clean their sin. They shave their hair bald, right? It's like a part of a ritual over in India. That's how they be getting most of the hair. Now, so when they get the hair, could they do like a yabba dabba do or abracadabra over the hair to cleanse the energy? Put some do some sage over it or something.
Yeah,
Some of it don't feel weird, whether we say it or not. But so is it something they can do to cleanse the energy of it? Go ahead.
Yeah. Anything that you use that is an energy carrier, that's whether it's a stone or whether it's a dagger or a necklace or a ring or crown, whatever.
Yeah.
When you first get it to cleanse it, you should automatically have you like a table set out with like rock salt. You sit the item on the salt, right? And then you put it where both the sun and the moon can hit it. And you leave it there until you feel like it's okay to move it, because you will sense it as it's cleansing. Every time you walk past, it'll be like you walking past a quiet washer. Right? You can lay the packs of hair out like that. Right? You can expose them to green light. The green light is the frequency of love, which neutralizes none of the negative energy can stay under the green light. It has to flee. It's like the Moors say, when the truth on the manifest, falsehood flee. Right? So when you understand that you're using anything of somebody else's energy, you should automatically have a protocol of energy cleansing as part of your natural lifestyle.
Right.
But that was taken from us with our voodoo culture, or what they call voodoo culture. That was our natural sciences, where Big Mama used to always teach all of the kids how to cleanse the gifts given to them so people can't use magic on them.
Yeah, they happen down south a lot, Louisiana.
Yeah. They got salt pails at all of the old farms. It used to be a salt pail. They're going to bury something in that salt pail to cleanse it. But you want to expose it to the sunlight and the moonlight because you want to charge it with both energies. If it's gold, especially the sunlight. If it's silver, especially the moonlight, because it's deriving from source power. Right? So you got to know the science and the magic that come with the color of the light. Because you allowed to use replicas when the original can't be found, to use a suitable replacement is in the nearest facsimile of the actual thing. So when you're using your energy cleansing, you don't have to have the actual sun. You can use a light bulb that glows yellow. Right? If you need to use the red energy of Mars, you can use the red light when you charging war implements for power. So it's like having where the barbers clean their clippers with the blue light and the purple light. Right? You could change the color of the bulb in order to change the frequency that you charging something with. But the salt gonna ground it out, right? So you leave it on the salt, and then you charge it up with the element that is most powerful, is, depending on what it is. But if it's like stones, you use the sun and the moon to charge it. Right?
Now, can you use elements? Because I noticed that like in the class, they used to teach us that when you combine that with an element like water, fire, or earth, like dirt, right? To they teach
Mhm.
dirt. So, like, is that good to add like another power? Because I used to charge my crystals with the sunlight and the ground, with the dirt, earth, and the sunlight and water.
You can do that. You can use water too,
Uh-huh.
right? Sometimes you can put stones in water and sit them out in the sun, and the water is going to take a couple drops of it and freeze it. The water going to tell you what the energy is. Wait a couple days, freeze it again, and you'll see the change in the energy by the form the water takes.
Yeah, I've seen that before. I've seen that before. Now this next question says all right. That's another one. It says now somebody said something about like rocking hats. Do you think like, because I know a lot of guys that rocked a lot of hats when they was like in their mid age, they got bald spots in the middle now. Like my brother, he rocked a lot of hats. Like me, I rock the kufi a lot, but I really have I go outside and let the sun hit that part of my head. Why you think? And it could be a trait too, that when people go bald right there in the like, at the early age they go bald. But do you think that's from wearing a lot of hats? I know the guys that wear a lot of hats, they get bald right there in the middle.
Bald spot in the middle is a mother to son trait. It's passed on the mitochondria. They probably have a past life habit of wearing hats most of their life to cover their bald spot. So when they incarnate in this life, when they're young, they just naturally drawn to wearing the hat. But they still had to have the trait in order to lose the hair. Because you have some of them that might come in with the memory but don't got the trait, and they still wear hats and got all their hair.
Yeah, I've seen it too. Cause I wear a lot of hats, but I wear kufis a lot though. So, dates on what's happening this week. I got it written down. Now, somebody told me that, and I'm still looking for this interview. Well, Trump said that he was the last president. Not that he was the last president. That he hasn't stopped being the president since, like you've been saying, since the first time he became when he was president.
That was the speech he did when they called all of the generals together.
Okay, all right. Okay.
He said the 45th, the 46th, and the 47th.
Okay.
President.
Yeah, okay. So he came out and said it, because somebody said you need to go live on that. Trump just came out and said that he was still the president during Biden's administration.
Yeah. When we was that deep in war, we can't change the president anyway. And then they also used it to do a sting operation, so they can't escape. They can't say they didn't do it.
Yeah, we got you.
Right? So you let them run their scam, and then you strategize from the background for 4 years with your military top brass.
Man, smooth.
It's all military strategy 101. Sometimes you have to let your enemy advance in order to seize them and capture them. Right? You got to catch him in the act. It's better to catch him in the act than catching him after the fact. Because the case is stronger catching him in the act, going through with the act, than it is if you discover after the fact. Now you have to put too many pieces together. But when you know what you're looking for and then it shows up, you got to record it. And that's why they told us it was and where he was going to be operating from already, because somebody had to set it up. So while they was setting it up, they was recording what they was saying was being done and following the people that they was asking to do it. and surveilling them and cataloging whether they participated fully or whether they abandoned, because some people aborted some of the missions they were sent on, like the hit they put on Ali Carter when they drove down the streets of New Orleans. The Manchurian candidate gave them a no answer. He wasn't going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So they have some people whose conscience is waking up and they can't activate them to do the dirt.
Right.
Right. So when you seen all of that stuff playing out, you didn't know what you was looking at. But they was monitoring them the whole time. They had a war room observation of all of the major election sites where they observed people putting multiple ballots in the ballot box. They video recorded them doing it. They released some of the videos, but they got hundreds of them.
Yeah, I seen some of it.
Right, as a coup attempt. The coup attempt, because most people don't know, if a foreign-born person is elected into the office of the president of the United States, that is considered a foreign takeover, and it voids all of your constitutional government, because now you have to activate your military government because you've been infiltrated and your highest level of security has been breached by a traitor, by an asset of a foreign government. And when that happens, you have to figure out a way to catch everybody involved in that kind of event, because it's not supposed to happen under the constitutional government if everybody is doing the job they're supposed to be doing. This is why during the Obama administration, Trump kept asking for about his birth certificate. And then nobody paid attention to the FBI analysis explaining how the whole birth certificate is fraud, but they put it in the public domain way back then.
Yeah, 3 layers to it.
Right? So now the birth certificate of fraud, he's on video saying he was born in Kenya. Whether he was born in Kenya or not, I don't know. Right? But he also recorded as being born in the Philippines. But that's his CIA cutout through Lolo Soetoro.
Yeah.
Right? So while they're giving him his CIA cutout, his point of origin is Boys from Brazil cloning program of Akhenaten.
Right, we see this.
Right? So they trying to usurp leadership by inserting somebody to overthrow the government. This was called the Bush Plot, commonly referred to as the Garden Plot. And he was the gardener. The old man Bush was the gardener. He makes him the highest ranked member of Illuminati over here. He was the one who was supposed to create the American Union and bring out the Amero. But he got caught and he had to shift his agenda and try to do it a different way. And so his little protege, William Jefferson Clinton, and his little brothel slut, Hillary, was the first line of defense. He had to use the Democrats. Right. Now remember, it was under the old man Bush, the first World Trade Center situation happened. And while we was singing songs talking about blow up like the World Trade, right? Then under the Clintons, it was the federal building. Then under the second George Bush, it was the same Twin Towers,
Right.
right? That's called 3 knocks to a finish. His next thing is he got to get a CIA asset that was under his direct control into the position to be his coup de grace in seizing the power. So they put Barack up to it.
That's right. His whole family CIA.
Right. So when they put Barack up to it, he's beholden to the old man Bush, the same as Clinton's, the same as George W. and Jeb Bush.
And Reagan a little bit. He Reagan.
He took the power through Reagan. Remember, he was never supposed to be a politician. He was the director of the CIA.
Right.
Right. Then all of a sudden, because the original running mate for Reagan was supposed to have been the governor of Michigan at the time. I think it was Monahan, if I'm not mistaken. But at the Republican convention, George W. came out there, and Ronald Reagan didn't know George was going to be his running mate until about an hour before it was announced. But the whole Republican Party knew. See, Ronald Reagan got us a very special history that we don't talk about, too. Remember, he was the governor of California for years.
Yeah.
And as the governor of California, he had some dealings and experiences that he needed to get to the seat of the president to have the clout to expose, which was detrimental to the CIA. Governors of border states have far superior powers to secure borders from the military than interstate governors. This is how Schwarzenegger was able to sign off on freezing Tookie. Because he had access directly to military channels that could perform it without having to tell the president.
All right.
So he signed off on it. So we see a lot of stuff going on that part of the culture, but because we don't remember the culture, we don't recognize what we see it.
Hey, this is my last question that we can get up out of here, bro. Now, we've been having the Manchurian candidate. They had like 6-7 different shootings in 1 week prior to last week. But the main incident that I wanted to ask you about, and it's because it's still continuing. I don't know if they even caught the guy yet. In Houston, black women every week or every 2 or 3 days or so, a black woman is found dead in a bayou in Houston. So I guess
that's like serial killer. That's an active serial killer down there.
So you heard about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right, yeah. So what's your take on that, man? Like,
it's an active serial killer.
Is that Manchurian? You think connection?
No, he's the serial killer. He was wired that way by his mama not teaching him certain stuff.
Wow, that's crazy.
She gave him too much affection, and there was no disciplinarian that was capable of issuing discipline. He's ruined.
Wow.
His humanity has been cut out by too much love and not enough discipline.
With all the FBI stuff they got, they ain't caught that guy yet, though. You know, with all the FBI,
the serial killer is one of the hardest people for agencies to catch because of the intelligence level that normally accompany them. They normally are genius level people, but they have they all have a common upbringing. Right? Serial rapists too. And it all stems with the relationship with their mother, whether she was overly protective of the son and allowed him to get away with stuff she should have corrected or not. You can, women make serial killers by accident and out of trying to be more loving parents than disciplinarians. And the balance being off create the imbalanced personality type. And normally there's the underlying sexual trauma associated with the catalyst of the first kill, which sends them on the frenzy.
Sounds like it. Sound like it. I like watching them little shows. Hey, y'all, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, y'all. Like I said, you want to show Chief some love. If you in here, because a lot of people just not coming in. They coming. We about to get ready to get out. We've been on about 2 hours or something. Y'all just not coming in. You gonna have to rewind it, y'all. We gonna be
One
back.
more thing, you know they just had a big explosion out in California.
What? How long we write that down?
Yeah. But the name of the place is significant. The time of the explosion is significant. The fact that it's video recorded by a news station while it was happening on just a random news station camera is significant.
Look into it. I'm gonna look into all that tonight when I get off.
Right. So we got that going on. The serial killer in Houston.
Yeah.
He got 2 weeks before they catch him.
So you think they're gonna catch him in less than 2 weeks from now?
I think it's gonna be about 2 weeks.
Yeah, because the feds on him now. The feds is in on this now since there's so many
It's
bodies.
a serial killer. They've been called in the profilers.
Yeah. The
and
profile.
if the profilers is worth half their weight in shit, they'll be able to put his profile together in a couple of minutes. Right? And they're gonna always find the common denominator. It's all gonna tie back to the first body. The body that's been decomposing the longest is the one they're gonna focus on because the first kill is the catalyst for all the rest of them. And it's gonna be the one that's gonna yield the most evidence about the killer. And it's through that one is how they're gonna catch him. And it's not gonna once they get the profile together, they'll have his name within about 72 hours. But they're gonna take them about 6 or 7 days to nail down his location because he's gonna be somewhat nomadic around the area, like a drifter type. They already know all this though.
Yeah.
So he got about 2 weeks to operate before they catch his ass. They might even catch him in the act, dumping the body.
Yeah, that's how good these people are getting. Yeah, so that's pretty much all besides I think the random shoes that they've been having, like the guy that ran into the boat or something like that.
You don't remember we already told them that this was going to happen?
Yeah, like they activated a lot of the sleeper cells.
Yeah, they especially in most of the ones we've seen, these events are happening in schools.
Yeah.
Overwhelming majority of them. We just got done telling them if you don't want nothing to happen to your baby, get them out these damn schools.
That's crazy.
And people still need that babysitter though.
Yeah.
They don't want to get to do the work of putting the community of mothers together that want to protect the children, and the ones who don't got places to be at the school hours can take the children to her house. There might be 3-4 of them to divide the children up and teach them there as opposed to letting them go to these death camps because it's only going to get worse until the people pay attention.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that in the real life, somebody going to really die to prove a point that your child don't belong there. Somebody going to be on TV crying about losing their child saying, we should have listened to God. We should have. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want mine in there. if you're gonna put them into some type of education, make sure it's something that's a charter school or something that don't have general public access. That's
Right,
the way you're gonna know if it's a Manchurian candidate because it won't be somebody that go there; it'll be somebody sent there,
right.
and you'll be able to protect your child better. In the places where they can raise the Manchurian candidate among the people they finna slaughter, he's the easiest one to use because he grew up with these people.
Yeah, and so
They been
you
seeing him every day, so they don't see him as a threat.
yeah,
All the time between his hypnosis session and his Prozac or Ritalin or his Adderall, right? He's been programmed to be activated on a certain call. They know how to trigger him.
and you think some of them kids from that Project Cabbage Patch who were clone kids, they have a soul. They said they would be easier to mind control them kids. Like doing like they would have probably came out with doing
That came out of a super soldier program that was started under the Moors in Europe.
yeah.
It was a super soldier program. It was that was what the Cabbage Patch breeding, but that most of the children they called in Cabbage Patch Kids wasn't made literally in the laboratory. They was made in Catholic churches' basements and rituals,
Uh,
which is the source of the orphanage. That's why you always see nuns raising orphans, because nuns was giving birth and they couldn't send them nowhere, so they found a church to turn into the first orphanage. Orphanage is named after Orpheus, patron saint of children, from Greek lore, I think it is.
so the nuns are supposed to be getting booty, right? The nuns are supposed to get booty.
They swear it's the oath of celibacy, but you got to remember the patriarchy need a certain amount of rate of righteous women in order to maintain their power.
What? That's sick, boy. That's a
It's
twist.
called the Great Rape Campaign that don't nobody never talk about. But it was to defy the sacred feminine by using temptation rituals in the priesthood. It came from out of the bathhouses of Rome,
Uh,
and they established pools under most of those churches. And in the pool, it was normally about 3 feet, and it was heated water, warm water. And the priest's temptation to eschew sex was by putting new nuns to be playing the part of seductresses into the pool, but he not supposed to penetrate them. They was coming up pregnant.
that's crazy.
Once they started coming up pregnant, then they had to find a church that can raise these children, and they would send a lot of these nuns as church mothers to overlook these children to one monastery,
Uh,
right? And they would raise the children in a regimented format. The regimented format is taken from military school manuals from Egypt and Babylon about rearing children to be beholden to your structure. So those was the children that they was bearing and raising as orphans. Your little orphan Annie story, Annie and Andy. That's what it was all about.
somebody
So
asked about. Oh, go ahead.
yeah. So when you see this Cabbage Patch Kids, remember when they told Europe to send all of their orphans over here. And then in came the orphan trains with the Cabbage Patch Kids. The orphans was from the raping of the nuns.
Well, they ain't. It
That's
wasn't was it a million nuns getting raped? What about the? So it was test tube kids, but it was some kids coming from the rape campaign.
right. Well, they was test tube babies to begin with.
Oh, okay, all right.
They was test tube babies to begin with. They were the byproduct of Babylonian breeding. Remember, Malachi said the reason they had these defects because it was humans trying to play God.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what
The
he's
Moors,
talking about.
dirty Moors.
Right. That's the Yakub breeding program that Elijah told us about. But we keep skipping over the part where they left Negroes in charge.
Yeah, you think so right, Rod. You dang sure right.
The Negro was supposed to make sure that the paleface have a pseudo rulership because they wasn't genetically qualified to have a true rulership. But that was part of their plan to recover ascension rights from being laboratory. They needed a drop of blood. Eugenics was written by Enki. Eugenics is a derivative of genetics. The eugenics program produces the reverse psychology to create a standard of beauty, and then you tell the guys you can't have none. Reverse psychology. But you gotta remember, the pale man had his fornication under the consent of the king run for 200 years under the captivity of the family farms. The house Negro gave the management paleface men free run of all of the girls in the family.
Uh-huh.
And they was making babies by it. There was a spread they drop of blood on the fatherland. They was kidnapping whole tribes of women when the men went off to war and children and raping the women and making babies with them. Malachi talked about, I just seen the video today, Malachi was going over that about the Muskogee Creek and why some of them are so light and still got the blood.
Doing Andrew Jackson now.
Right. Now, they didn't use the same method of rape on the men that they used on the women. They used the allure of creating a beauty standard and then telling us we was too savage to have it. It's the only way to get a guy to do something is tell him what he can't do. And this is the eugenics program.
Wow.
Walter Plecker, going back to Andrew Jackson, usurpation. We not the ones that had the genetic deficiency. They only wanted the ones with the drop of blood that got rid of the genetic deficiency as part of the eugenics program. This is what they was testing for. It was celebrated through Hollywood with all of these great actors and actresses passing on the big screen in our face, behind our back. Clark Gables, Marilyn Monroes, these octoroons acting as if they Caucasians playing a role in the movie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And all the time, all they needed was one drop of blood.
Right. Right. Fire.
What? You know what I'm saying? He's got all these AKAs is whatever you feel, whatever you want to take on with Rod. So thank you, Rod, again for joining us on October 1st. And I thought it was really important to touch on maybe the historical aspects of Halloween and the a lot of the historical references and how we got there and why we put such emphasis on that particular holiday. And I know you've got the breakdown, so I'm gonna just but wait, hold on. Let's say hello to our YouTube family first. Everyone give a shout out to Hot Rod Hayes in the house. Okay.
Feathers up, feathers up.
So,
Okay, we can roll the corn.
okay, let's get it. So, Rod, so, and obviously I don't have to introduce you because all my people know your people and we know people, so we all people now. So we don't have to do the introduction as normal. But I wanted to kind of talk to you, and I was really curious. So I wanted to go to the veteran of historical archives and kind of get your take on the references and how we got to Halloween as far as the American diaspora, how we kind of utilize that as a holiday. But I want you to break it down, like where we arrived there and what the importance of October is, especially American history.
Well, in 1491, the day that they call Halloween was the Pumpkin Festival. All Hallows Eve is their um, rebranding for financial purposes and marketing to create Halloween as a way to make money.
Hmm.
But the Pumpkin Festival traces back to certain tribes in the South. The Pumpkin Festival is divine feminine metaphor. The pumpkin became a sacred vegetable because it mimicked the posterior of the women. So every time they stomp out the divine feminine, they rebrand it for something else.
Mm,
The pumpkin festival preceded the turkey harvest, which they called Thanksgiving.
hmm
It wasn't Thanksgiving, it was the turkey harvest, the feast of the turkey, where the new chief, Big Mama, sit him and his family at the table of honor, and she give him a freshly roast turkey to cut.
mm,
This is who invited the pilgrims to the celebration. Halloween, on the other hand, had also ancestral reverence connections for the pumpkin festival, right? And just like Granny in the cartoon with Tweety Bird, and she walking around with the big old posterior,
hmm
that was a lot of our big mamas.
Ah, yes.
So when they crossed over on the pumpkin festival, it was like a family inside joke about Big Mama's posterior being big as a pumpkin, right? So we attach the ancestral reverence to the pumpkin harvest. And sometimes when we dress up in our ceremonial attire,
Hmm.
it looks what modern people would call demonic because it's embracing the aspect of life called death,
Hmm.
which is part of the cycles, right? And so they took it and called it All Hallows Eve after a European holiday, right? They even moved the dates to line up to match.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because we still gonna do ours,
Yeah, of course.
right? But the Christian church came in and declared war on the holiday because the Christian church is the source of the war on the divine feminine,
Mm,
usurping the sacerdotal seat, the Isis seat, or set seat, the seat, Mary seat,
mm.
Hail Mary, Mother of God. What that make her? I love to say that.
Yeah,
What that make her? She the God maker.
the creator of God. Yes, yes, yes.
Because when she had the baby, they named him Emmanuel.
Mm,
But they didn't tell you that they was telling you both of their story at the same time, Isis and Horus, as if it was one person.
yeah.
But when you read the dialogue, you can tell there's two different people speaking, at least in the words in red. They don't agree. They got different frames of thought. One talk like a warrior and one talk like a lover.
Hmm. Hmm.
The mother is the lover. If you go to the scene, there's a scene of Mary laying on the steps, uh, is supposed to be the reenactment of Tammuz, right? This is what they incorporating in to the Christian doctrine in the Nicene Council as the imagery, iconography of the crucifixion.
Mm.
But Jesus is Isis. And the only one that was sitting on the Isis seat during the contemporary period was Cleopatra. So the trick or treat moniker came from Europe,
Yes.
right?
Hmm.
Because it was actually a prankster day from the
Yes.
Vandals.
Yes.
It was the prankster day created by the Vandals. Remember, they used to tear shit up.
Hmm.
They used to, that's why vandalism is named after the Vandals,
Mm.
right? And so they had a custom when they call All Hallows Eve of playing pranks on people.
That's,
So
wasn't that called
yeah,
the day before is called
Devil's Night.
yeah, where we throw eggs and everything like that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. So there was supposed to be designed to intimidate the people to give them a treat, or they're gonna play a trick on them.
Mm.
And the trick used to come in many different forms. Burn the shit on the porch.
Mm. That's foul. That's foul.
And
That's
they'll come
cruel.
out and stomp it out.
Oh, oh, God.
The jack-o'-lantern is design ceremony, right? Original jack-o'-lanterns was more elaborate than they try to tell us. They try to tell us that the original jack-o'-lantern just had two holes poked in it with a candle in the pumpkin.
Yeah, in the mouth,
Why
like
was you
picture.
putting candles in pumpkins? Whose custom is that?
Mm.
Whose custom is it to put a candle in the pumpkin, and what is its purpose? See, we be forgetting that most of the culture that we had is still in practice. They just rebranded it so that when our genetic memory, we feel okay practicing our heritage,
That's right. That's right.
right? The pumpkin with the candle in it was the symbol for the bake off. You put the pumpkin up and let them know that, okay, now it's time for everybody to come taste the pie,
Oh, okay.
right? So all of that is still part of native culture, but we've got it rebranded as modern pop culture.
Hmm. Hmm.
But Halloween wasn't always an evil holiday, and neither was Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving was, a, a big deal for us. It was the harvest. We
Yes.
dividing up food to send them to different tribes from the harvest. And the turkey harvest was specifically for recognition of the new chief and his
Mm.
family.
I get chills when you say that. Yeah.
The turkey with his feathers flared out
Mhm.
is the symbol for the full feather chief,
Mm.
right? The problem came in on Black Friday. That's when they slaughtered